Welcome to a part 2 of this team analysis video, where I am running you through the sort of stats of the game, how to look at your team, analyse their performance at big chunk breaks, and to then use that information to decide how you improve your team, who you should be bringing in, who you should be getting rid of, are there any surprises in there, any sort of fringe players that are actually performing well that you should be doing more with, or vice versa, key players that aren't actually as key as you think they are. So, in the previous episode or part, we brought you the goalkeepers and defenders, so the back, the rock of your team. How sound tactically are these guys? How they performing in tackling and marking? This time we will be bringing you the midfielders, wingers, and attackers. And I do split the midfielders and the wingers and attackers into two groups, and put the wingers in with the attackers just because of the way they play. And in our formation, we play with quite attacking wingers with one striker, so we kind of look at that attacking 3 for stats, and then we look at the base midfield 3 as well. So without further ado, let's get in and have a look at this midfield view. So you see here I have selected from my filters the senior squad and midfielders, then selected my midfielder view, and I will just quickly now run you through the stats that I've selected as part of this midfielder view. So we have the normal name, position, apps. We have, again, like the other the defender view, we have starts, so how many games are they in the starting 11, how many minutes per game are they playing. Then we go for goals, assists per 90 minutes, key passes, so that sort of makes up the key core there. The key passes, then passes completed per 90 minutes, pass completion ratio, that looks at, okay, that midfield core, your central midfielders, okay, how are they performing? Are they making the key passes? Are they getting the through balls? Are they getting are they consistently hitting a high percentage of pass completion? Then we have the crosses completed versus crosses attempted, which will just give you the percentage of how successful their crosses actually are. Then into dribbles, and then for some of the defensive stats, we've got key tackles, interceptions, tackle completion ratio for those defensive midfielders or central midfielders that are working hard. Are they tackling effectively? Shots on target ratio, goals, and then these are sort of the ones that are tacked on the end that are useful, but you shouldn't expect to see too many in there. So we've got goals, mistake leading to goals, number of mistakes made, yellow cards, red cards, and then key headers, header win percentage, and then the game win percentage. So when they're in the team, are they winning games as part of the team? The key headers and headers 1 percentage is a bit of an odd one, because you wouldn't necessarily always. You will want them, especially central defenders, to be winning headers where there's challenges in the centre, or wingers making those headers count when they're in the box. But it's not essential, so I'll leave that towards the end. So once we have that all set up, and like I say before, if you do want to see my views, then let me know and I'll upload them to Steam, and you can just import them straight into your screen and you don't have to faff around. But what we do is take this one by one and have a look at how we're going. So we've got a decent number of midfielders. Some obviously defenders get included in here as well. We need to watch that. And what I like to do is just see, okay, who's played the most. Oh, sorry about that. So I like to look at who's played the most and how they then performing. So obviously Byram's in here as a defender. We need to make sure he's removed. We don't need to look at him. But then we've got Antonio starting 25 games, Noble 25 games, Lanzini 22, Obiang 20. And then we've got Kute 16. So we start to drop off. So that seems to be our main contingent of midfielders. So anything below 15 games in this sort of analysis, we don't really want to look at. We've got Faguli in here who's been injured, and Ayu. We'll have a look at their stats just to see if they have better ratios, and we should be playing them more, because at the moment they're not favoured. So that's the ones to watch out for. Looking at the goals, we have big surprises here actually. The top 2 there, Obiang, our defensive central midfielder, with 5 goals, the most goals from midfield. So that's an odd one. He is actually playing usually on a deep line playmaker. So good to see him picking up the goals, but surprising not to see somebody else there in front of him. And then after that, Andrew Ayu's played 8 times and scored 5 goals. That would indicate that he's pretty prolific. We'd have to actually have a look at when those goals were. What games they appeared in. It could be 3 in one game. I think he did actually get a hat-trick in a League Cup game or something like that. But
Interesting to see that he can hit the net, and as coming in as what would be a winger, very useful to have goals. Well, and then you're playing a one striker system. Very useful to have goals outside of that top spot. So that's interesting. Then we got Lanzini picking up 4, and then they kind of dive around here, 1 or 2 for everybody else. Lanzini we expect to pick up some. He was playing as that central attacking midfielder. Now I've dropped him down as a midfield centre, but on an advanced playmaker, and he's much more effective at running forward. But we expect to see him making assists and scoring goals. So if we look at assists, big man Mikel Antonio, 8 assists, tops the leaderboard, been our number 1 right midfielder, so that's good to see that he's actually getting in there and making those goals happen. It's always nice to see. We've then got Lanzini on 5, Faguli, and that's it, dropping off a bit around here on 4 and 3. I will actually, just thinking about it, put attacking midfielders in, and we may double up and look at a couple of these guys twice, but I just realised because Payet's not in there. There we go. I was just thinking, where's my best left mid? So Payet here on the midfield. We'll look at him again in the wingers, which will look more on the goals ratio, but this always gives you a good indication of whether you should be playing wingers or playing central midfielders, and sort of helps with your formation. So we'll include the attacking midfielders in there as well. So yeah, Payet there, 10 goals, way out above everybody else, but he's playing on that inside forward, so just plays that secondary striker, and 5 assists, so not doing too bad on the old assist front either. Assists per 90 minutes. So Faguli there, making 7 starts, but being subbed all 7 times, but does have an assist every other game. So I mean, he's not bad. Caleri, interesting one in there, he's not played at all. Antonio then second in there. Key passes, we are looking at Dimitri Payet, Antonio and Lanzini. So that's good to see. They are our key front 3, that arrow at the top. Sorry, not the arrow, but when Lanzini's sitting in there, those 3 are our playmakers. So we expect those guys to be making the big passes, and it looks like they are indeed making the big passes. So all 3 of them picking up over 20 key passes. That's good to see. Next one down is Noble. Who else we got in here? So it does look like then, see Obiang on 2 key passes. So he's getting on the end to get the goals, but he's not actually making the passes. Same as Coyote. So we do really have 2 defensive central midfielders, and we do have the attacking ones there. There's a clear divide. Passes completed per 90 minutes is fairly standard. Noble making the most per 90 minutes, and Obiang and Lanzini. So that front 3, we'd expect to see that. But the big one here, pass completion ratio. Pedro Obiang, Mark Noble, Fernandez, good to see him up there. He's a youngster that I've been bringing in and playing every so often. So to see all these players above 80% is very good, considering we were playing with quite direct passing at one point in the season. So surprised to see him up all at 80. But that's good. That is encouraging. It means we are making over 80% of our passes that are coming from our midfield sort of 3. They are hitting their mark, which is what we want to do, not lose it in the middle of the park. Who's sitting down further low? So Payet sitting down at 76, but he plays further forward, so that's not too bad. Antonio down at 69. That's not great. He could do with working on that. But again, he plays as the winger, so he's more into hitting the byline and crossing the ball in, rather than making those short passes. And as we say that, we get onto crosses. So crosses completed. Dimitri Payet far outweighing the crosses that Antonio is making, and Payet's playing as normally an inside forward, so you'd expect him to cutting in with the ball more rather than making just the crosses, but he is far and away the most prolific crosser we have. Good to see Byram and Masuku in here. So these are our left and right wing backs that get forward and put the crosses in, so that's good to see. Let's look at the percentages and see if anyone's up there. Top in the leaderboard, our 2 central defensive midfielders. Very, very odd. Gökhan Toure there, not played a lot of games really to judge this on, but has a very good cross completion ratio. And the guys that are making them more often, sitting around 18%. Where is Antonio? Antonio down at 9%. So where is his crossing? Crossing's only 13, that makes sense. So really need to work on that with Antonio. He needs to be. He's got the most assists, which means he must be cracking out the crosses, but with no real accuracy, it looks like. So one training point to mark up on that one. We'll go and work on Antonio and work on his crosses. Dribbles per game, who's making the runs? Antonio Lanzini for Guri. That's not so bad. I don't really mind about dribbles. Key tackles. Kote making 2. That's good. He's now been pulled into that central defensive midfielder role, so we expect him to keep picking up more of these, and definitely more of these interceptions, as we see him there second. Obiang third. So this is good to see these guys when they are in their defensive duties. They are hitting their mark, and again, 80% of tackles completed. Kote, Obiang. So that is good to see from those defenders. Nothing really to worry about. This is nice. I like going through and not being shocked too much. You should. It means that when you're reading the game, you're reading it not too badly. Shots on target. Payet, Lanzini, Antonio. Antonio only at 12 shots on target. But that's because he's not shooting as much, I suppose, as these two guys. And the big one, shots on target ratio. So Emilson Fernandez not too bad there. Andrew Ayew actually 11 shots, 79% on target ratio, compared to Antonio's 12 shots, 33%. Annoyingly, Ayew and Payet play the same side though. So whereas Payet's down at 30%, he has had a lot more shots. But Ayew not looking like a bad player. The goals looking good, the key passes, good crosses. Someone that we should definitely be putting in and playing a bit more on that rotation basis. No one really coming out as being terribly. Caleri, that's not good. You're supposed to be a striker, mate. Goals leading to mistakes. One from Dimitri Payet. That's a bit worrying. What was he doing back giving away a goal? Mistakes overall, 50 for Noble. All being down at 37. So Noble actually making quite a big jump in mistakes compared to Obiang and Kote, which is something to really watch out for. I do love Noble though. I find it very difficult to remove him from the team. And I probably won't, but that is a worry. He's making mistakes in the centre of the park where the other guys aren't really doing so. But we don't really want those mistakes. The mistakes lead to challenges on our defence. Yellow cards, Kote picking up 11, that's to be expected. Obiang on 10. Kote does have a bit of a problem with the yellow cards, but in that role he plays as the ball winning midfielder, he does put himself about a bit, so I'm not too worried about it. Red cards, no real worries, a couple across the board. Key headers, let's see if anyone's coming out on fire here. So this is Antonio's funny one. I think this is where I do play. Antonio has good heading stats, I do believe. Let me get proved wrong now. Heading 16, yeah, good heading. So I do put him back on corners and up for corners. So he is getting the key headers. 45 is a huge jump from the next target, and so I am expecting to. Would be expecting to see more from him. But yeah, we would like to see more of him turn into goals. It's 145 key headers, but only one goal. That might be where his assists are coming from. We might have to have a look at that. KJ in the next one picking him up, that's not too bad. And Payet's not really a header of the ball though, is he? Coyote there, 83%. Good for a defensive midfielder to have high heading. I like that. Obiang not too far behind. Yeah, Antonio down on 64. Be nice to see some more from that. So that really rounds up the midfielder view. Looking at that, what we're going to take away, well, we're going to work with Antonio on his crossing. Put some training on that one. Look to play Ayew a bit more. But in terms of real worrying performances, no, nothing to worry about. We've got good depth. We've got enough players, so we shouldn't really need anyone in transfer window. But good to know, maybe start to phase Noble out a bit, play Obiang a bit more, because now I have Obiang and Lanzini having to play in the middle. But we'll see. That's interesting view for me to have a look at how those guys are performing. So now let's do the fun one, the strikers. So if we pick this onto attacking midfielders and attackers, and I will run you through then the striker winger view, as I've called it. So again, we've got name, position, appearances, starts, minutes per game, goals, shots on target. So this is then the real striker area. Goals, shots on target percentage, shots per 90 minutes. So this is how many shots per 90 minutes are these guys taking? Are they taking a lot of shots, and hence their rate? shots on target ratio being a bit lower is not too bad, or they're not taking shots at all. Ideally, your strikers, you want them on the end, and your wingers taking as many shots as possible in the game, because that's how you're going to get goals, right? Shots on target. Offsides aren't even. Is the tactic maybe not working for the offsides? Is your striker way out and offside multiple times a game? Do you need to look at maybe changing the way you play on that one? Assists, are they picking up assists in support roles, or are the wingers picking up assists? Assists per 90 minutes, and then we've got key passes per 90 minutes, pass completion ratio, cross completion ratio, and then we've left key tackle stuff. But we don't really need to worry too much about these ones on the end, because it's all up here. This is the interesting stuff, right? The goals. This is what we want to see. So if we look at apps again, Sam Byram plays everywhere, doesn't he? Coming up here, we have Payet, Antonio, Lanzini, Sarko, all above 20. These big ones. Andy Carroll, before he got injured, had 10. Ayew had 8. So we'll keep these guys. And Faguli, I suppose. These ones we're looking at. What have they been doing? Goals. Who's getting the goals? Diafra Sakho. 13 goals. Top goal scorer at the moment. Mainly because he's been our only fit striker. Have we brought him in? We tried to get Andy Carroll in and playing a bit more, but he wasn't playing great, and then got injured, as big man AC tends to do. So 13 goals, not great. I would like a few more, but I mean, it's good. He's scoring more consistently now, which is nice. Payet not far behind on 10. Then we've got a big jump. Ayew 5. Ayew's not even playing as our next goal scorer from this attacking region. And then we're into the Lanzini Carroll. So we've got no one else outside that can score, which is a big problem for us. Big mark for transfer window strikers. Strikers or wingers that can score, or attacking midfielders that can score. So let's have a look. Shots on target. So Sarko and Payet have had the same amount of shots on target. Lanzini not far behind. Let's have a look. Shots on target ratio. So Sarko down at 44% in terms of shots on target. That is not good, is it? Carroll on 41. No one really. Are you the only one out there with a bit more? What's Ayew like in terms of being a striker? Or maybe we'll have a play with that. That's not great. I'd expect that to see that higher. I'd like to see that higher. That's a reason that we're not getting many goals then, because he's having a lot of shots, but they are not hitting the target at all. Shots per 90 minutes. So Zaza's only had the one game, had a lot of shots in that game. Torre, so Payet's having more shots per game than Sarko is. Sarko's supposed to be our lone man, advanced forward on attack. Would be expecting to see a lot more shots from him. Offsides, Sarko up there, and so the front three are the ones for the offsides. 23, quite big. Is that? I can't tell if that's too bad. We'll maybe watch that in the next couple of games to see if we're picking up more and more offsides in the game, and we might have to drop Sarko back, change the way the tactic works for him to try and stop him trying to beat the offside trap. I wonder if he has had that as a, I don't know, moves into channels. Okay, we'll watch that one. Sarko, we need him at the moment, but isn't the greatest. Assists, Antonio, we know, is up there. Key passes, anyone else screaming out to us? No, we've kind of been through these before with the last one. No. So when looking at strikers and wingers, what we're seeing is, Ayew we really should be trying to get into the game. Let's see what he's got. Now he's back from injury, back to full fitness. Sarko probably want to replace in the transfer window. As I was saying in the previous video, as part of my West Ham Directors Challenge, I do not have control of the transfer market. That is handed over to Karen Brady and her Director of Football. So I'm hoping they're watching and they will go out and buy a nice striker. A 20 goals a season striker. But if not, you know, we'll just suffer on with Sarko. It'll be fine. But that really wraps up the views. That's the team analysis for Football Manager. So like I was saying in the previous video, I like to do this a month or so before the transfer window. You will see it's the 30th of December because I don't have to do the transfers. I don't have to send the scouts out. But I would have picked up here that Sarko definitely needs replacing. So who can we bring in that we can replace? Start scouting some strikers with the tributes we want to bring into our tactic. And then we're ready to go for the transfer market opening. It also gives you an idea of who you might want to get rid of, who's not performing so well, who could possibly be booted out the door to make some money to bring in some new faces. So that is it for team analysis and view. Obviously, you can play around with these stats, put in what you want, take out what you want. They are great things to play with, especially if you have certain ideas in mind and you want to look at the stats in a certain way. I do like playing around with them. If you do want to see my views, let me know and I will upload them to the Steam workshop. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. This is the midfielders, strikers and wingers team analysis view. Go back and check the defenders and goalkeeping one. Not as sexy, but just as important, if not more important, to be short at the back to let these guys go off and do what they need to do. So check that video out as well. But thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you want to see more action from the channel. Give me a like if you've enjoyed the video. Give me a comment if there's something specifically you want to see covered in one of these videos. We will be moving on, looking at training, maybe some more stuff on tactics, on team reports, end of year stuff. But just as it comes up in my save, I'll drop a little video out, just to keep you guys up to speed with what we're doing, just for a bit of fun. I am no way an expert, so this is just my ramblings on the system as someone who's played Football Manager for 15 or 16 years, so I have enjoyed getting into the grittier side of the game, and I hope you have too. But I shall end the video there, stop it going on for any longer. Thank you very much. I shall see you another time. Bye bye.